Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to It's Clobbering Time. Uh, Marcus, you there? Your mic's off. Your image is blurry. Uh, it's hot. How's everybody doing? It's like 100 degrees here in New York right now. Well, it's 86 right now. It's cooling down to only 86 degrees. And I'm in my air-conditioned basement where the air conditioning is set at 64 degrees. Screw you, man, damn it. You dirty commie. So how's that? You keep it warm down there, Mark, or cool down there, Marcus? Marcus? Hello? Marcus can't hear. Marcus went deaf. So anyway, I'm in New York, outside of the communist state of New York City, where the mayor says that everybody has to keep their air conditioner set at 78 degrees because, like a communist, he doesn't want to improve any infrastructure. He just wants to ration out stuff. So there you go. My wife and I went to Home Depot. I got some propane for my barbecue, but I went out to clean it, and it was like 106 degrees, and I was like, nah, I'll wait till it gets dark. So after this stream, I'm gonna. Hello. After the stream, I'm gonna go out and clean my barbecue. It is that freaking.
Why is this not working? Ah, here's Beth.
There you go. So
I just went out and came back.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the extreme heat here in New York. What is the temperature over there?
What the living heck? Oh,
is everything all right, Marcus? What you need is a cable.
Yeah, everything should be fine. I don't know. I'm changing my settings.
Like a Wi-Fi cable.
StreamYards is not working very well.
Marcus needs a cable installing expert.
Yep. Oh, I'm not installing anything in here. StreamYards is a pain in the neck, though.
So
I am kind of like an expert, kind of, sort of. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I have experience in it. Why is this not working right? I don't know whose end it is. Anyway, I heard you cleaning your grill for tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just waiting for you to be done talking.
Now John's frozen, so hopefully. Why is he going in and out?
Can you guys hear me? Is everything okay? Because I see Marcus freezing. Are you guys seeing me freezing? Let me know. Ben, voice actor, Kojo, what are you guys seeing over there in Homeland?
But I see you. I'm not frozen now.
Hell, Ben, how you doing? Kojo. All right, so it's clobbering time. Okay, you can hear me. All right, so like I said, I always filibuster a bit before people come in. My hair is crazy, but it's so humid and hot. Like I brush my hair and it instantly curls up again. So I had the day off. It was really nice. Slept late and went to my favorite butcher, Chubb's Butcher. Oh my God, there was a line out the door, and I got like these fresh made hamburger patties. They are ground beef, pork, bacon. Well, that's the pork, bacon, and cheddar cheese, and then it's rolled in like everything bagel sprinkle. Oh my God, they're so good. I had them last year. Then they make their own fresh sausages. I got sausages. They make their own hot dogs. I got those. My wife got like this Mediterranean chicken burger patty, and then she also got what's called the Jack Daniel's burger. So I don't they roll it. I guess Jack Daniel's when they're I don't know. It looked awesome, but nothing from this place has been bad. And then we got at the last minute impulse sweet corn salad. So there we go. Yeah, Marcus is going through some technical difficulties. He'll be back. The stream is working. So it's so hot. This is the invite. This is an open invite. So I'll talk about. You can see my stew for dinner over here. That's funny. You don't need to see that. kielbasa stew. I did work at my friend's house, electrical work, and they said, "What do you want for pay it?" I said, "Make me that kielbasa stew that you guys made." That's the last of it. So, if anybody wants to come in and talk with us, here's the invite. It's starred. I want to talk about this for a second. So, Friday night, I'm going to be launching my Heroic Tales Christmas special on Kickstarter. So it's going to be Christmas in July. Now, I was just reassigned at work. I'm going to be working 3 to 11 next week. So I don't know. Should I wait till I get home? Is that too late to launch it? I'm going to see if I can actually stream at work. I'm doing a standby, which usually means you do nothing. But there's always the chance that I could get a call while I'm streaming. So I don't know. Maybe I'll delay it till Saturday. Maybe I'll delay it till Saturday. But it's on Kickstarter right now. You could go and check out the preview. Click on this, sign up for notifications, let people know, share. I could use the help. And because there's add-ons on Kickstarter, there's a lot more. So if you've backed this already on Fund My Comic, you might want to check it out on Kickstarter. And if you want to get anything, extra that you weren't able to get, or and you're already back, just let me know. I'll reimburse you for the shipping. I want to get my stuff into your hands. I'm not out to screw anybody for shipping or anything. Lord Vinzinzer says, "Sup, amigos." Model Macca says, "How's John shot? I'm hungry now." Yep, yummy. It's really good. My friend Adam, his girlfriend Bex, is a phenomenal cook. Oh my God. And I'm always amazed, like when you go to different houses, because growing up by me, it was always the same thing. Everybody was Irish or everybody was Italian. So everybody seemed to have the same types of food. And then as I got older, my friend groups got bigger. And I met in third grade, my friend Sean, and they ate a lot of like different things than my house, but like basic American stuff. But my house was a lot of pasta. My mom was Irish, so a lot of pot roasts and meatloaf and stuff like that. Then I went to Sean's house and they ate like kielbasa and now like pierogies and things like that. And then I made friends with an Indian kid in junior high school, introduced to other food. Oh my God, it's funny. But anyway, Bex seems to make stuff that nobody ever makes, like a kielbasa stew. It's so freaking good. I got to get the recipe. Have I seen Citizen Vigilante? No, but it's on my list of things that I want to see. What gets me annoyed is I have a vigilante character that I pitched to Chuck Dixon, and he basically goes around killing judges and the criminals, the judges, and Antifa. And Chuck loved it, but he said, "I don't need anybody else's vigilante characters. I got enough of my own." And that's what ended up turning into the sci-fi story. That's done. The story's written. The art's going to begin soon. But I don't want to tell the name of the character yet because it's such a great name. I'm afraid of people taking it. But now when I write that story, and if I ever put people, you're like, "Oh, this is just a ripoff of Citizen Vigilante." But it's in America. It's in Texas. And it's different. It still exists in the world of superheroes. He fights a supervillain. I remember eating meatloaf, really good stuff. Meatloaf. Last Saturday, I went to a funeral service. One of my coworkers died, and we went to a restaurant, a bar restaurant, like a pub, I guess, called Daisy's in Patchogue. And it's modeled after the Dukes of Hazzard. So you can get like the Boss Hog, the General Lee, everything on the menu. And I got the I can't even remember what I got now, like the Otis or something. It was a meatloaf sandwich. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. Marcus, I think I was telling you this. All the waitresses wear Daisy Dukes. And I couldn't look at them. They look like babies to me. I was like,
it's terrible.
Yeah, I had that problem. I've come to that age in my life with like these 19, 20-year-old, 22, probably 21 if they're working in a bar, right? These 21-year-old girls are closer to kindergarten than they are to me. So I was I can't look at them. Like I realized.
Yeah. So I do college. I do a lot of work repairing internet at off-campus college housing in the South. So you can only see how that goes. And like there's girls at the pool, and like this is why I wear my glasses like this.
Yeah.
because I'm so old. Like I'm old. I'm older. I you know my kids are older than those kids,
Yeah.
and I don't really want to be a dirty old man, even by mistake. You know.
Oh, I know. It was. I mean, whatever. And like I ordered my food. I ordered Diet Cokes, and they were teasing me because I didn't want to drink. I was a little far away from my house. I didn't want to drive. And one of the guys paid everybody's bill when he left. He just did that Irish exit, just left quietly. And then when I went to go pay my bill, they're like, "Oh, your bill's paid." So I just left the girl at the bar the money that I was going to spend at the bar. But I can't believe that 2025 was the first time you've ever eaten meatloaf. Do you live in the United States of America? Like meatloaf is just a. I love meatloaf. Every time I watch that Christmas story and Ralphie's like meatloaf, meatloaf. I hate meatloaf. I was like, punch that kid in the face. He's whiny and he doesn't like meatloaf. There's no good reason for Ralphie. Ralphie is the worst. We were burgers, fries, pizza my whole childhood. Then I had Chinese food, Japanese, and Indian, and it was like a whole new world. I remember the first time I got Indian food. Uh, where was I? Oh, my friend Bob. He took me to Pama 2 in Manhattan. It was the first Indian place I went to. And if you've seen the Daredevil TV show, the Netflix show, they went to an Indian restaurant and there was all these lights hanging from the ceiling. That was the restaurant. So I've been there. That is.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And that was my second date with my wife. I took my wife there for our first date.
Nice.
We went to Chinese food. And the funny thing is my wife, before she met me, wasn't a very adventurous eater. She ate the same things. So one of her things is she's terrified to eat new food in front of new people. Like she doesn't want to be embarrassed that she doesn't like the food. But it was our first date. So we went to this Chinese place, the Peking Duck, since it closed down over COVID. And she loved it. And then I took her to Indian food in Manhattan, and she was terrified, but she put up a good front, and she loved it. But now it's just not worth going into Manhattan just for a restaurant. And then the third date, we went to Thai food. So I did like everything wrong. I took her to all these like
You did, yes, you did.
places
That's so funny.
But I grew up with Chinese food. Ben, where do you live? Chinese. I mean, I live in New York. Chinese food is just like, there's a Chinese restaurant on every corner.
Yeah, but yeah,
And
I had a lot of Chinese food.
It's American Chinese food. I went. Do you ever get authentic Chinese food?
I have.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a place my sister always goes to in Hartsdale, New York, in Westchester County, that is as close to authentic Chinese food as you could get. And she just loves it. When I was a kid, my grandmother's house, and then they were Jewish, my grandmother. Oh, don't say that, And it was the Jewish Chinese food, right? You get the Chinese food in the white boxes and everything. And about once, like 4 or 5 times a year, everybody would go, and we'd go to Tung Hoi. That was the famous Chinese restaurant. No, they're no longer there.
Where was that?
Mamaroneck.
Oh.
And we get food. It was there forever.
When I lived in Flushing, I'd go to Joe Shanghai's. And they made everything in the back. So like they made their own wontons, they made their own egg rolls, and everything was fresh. It was I've never taken anybody there who didn't like it. People who don't even like Chinese food were like, this place is the best.
Tung Hoi was a really traditional American Chinese place. You're going with the lights, and they had the booths, and it's all red. You know what I mean?
This place,
you could see like somebody would go there in 1968.
But this place, Joe Shanghai, I used to for my birthday. I forget what birthday it was, but I was like, I want to have everybody come over and play board games. But I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment at the time. So my wife came up, they did like, go to a hotel. So we rented like a party room in a hotel. Everybody chipped in. And then we held the room, and then we all went to this Chinese restaurant, like 25 of us. And that just became every 6 months. We did that until COVID. So I think we did it 6 times. And then COVID came, and when Joe Shanghai's closed, I was like, honey, I'm not even a joke. I was like, honey, we're moving from Queens. There's nothing left in Queens.
There's nothing left for you.
I also want to give you guys in America happy 4th of July and happy to. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I just assumed you were American. Where are you, Lord Vincenzo? Where are you? That makes sense then that you haven't had meatloaf. Hey, me, Lord Woodrow. I saw you printed out your comics. Good for you, man. Another guy's following through. Meatloaf can be amazing. Yes,
I love
yes.
meatloaf. Yeah.
When I was in college, my roommate Jason, uh, we got a house together, and that was his specialty. Is he would make meatloaf, and he would put a pint of Guinness in every meatloaf. You know, it was so good because some people like mix the meatloaf underwater or something, but he would mix it with Guinness, and it was really really good. I've never made a meatloaf.
My wife still makes meatloaf.
I love it.
I like it.
I like it, and I like it with beef gravy.
Mm-hmm.
In this, like a toasted sandwich, and then I like it like ice cold with just a slice of American cheese the next day.
So do I. Yeah.
Oh, I still live in Mexico. That's right. Although I was born in the U.S., but Mexican food was all I was mostly eat. But Mexican food. So, that's right. You live in Mexico. I forgot. Now, do you have like Chinese restaurants? Do you have like American restaurants? My friend taught in Korea for a while. My friend Mike, and he said like that was a big deal in Korea to go to an American restaurant. And they would have
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, turkey and meatloaf and burgers and stuff like that. My ex-girlfriend took me to an Indian buffet called Baluchi's in Manhattan. I know where that is. I know what Baluchi's is. I worked in a building. Unless there's more than one, I know where Baluchi's is. Because in college, my nickname was Belushi, like John Belushi. They said I look like John Belushi. So when we saw Belushi...
I'm trying to think. Let me think. Picture without your beard. That younger picture of John Romita Sr. I could see it. A little bit.
And it's funny because I bought a shirt that said college. Like he did in Animal House. I used to wear that all the time. I'll find a picture. You'll laugh. You'll find a picture. Me with big hippie, big head of hair. Saw Citizen Vigilante last night on the waves. It was brutally great. Can't wait for the sequel. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. Today, my mission today was to finish reading this, and I did. Rip Kirby.
Nice. That's really great stuff. Yeah. Love that stuff. Very influential. It's beautiful work.
It took 3 nights to read it. It was excellent. So good.
I read Man with No Strings 0.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, though I got to read 2 again. I read 1 already, but I'm going to read 1 again and then read 2. Yeah, I really like the way it's written. Like I'm not one to really care, but I like the myth. I don't know how to describe it. Kind of like it's almost like adapted from a true myth. I did that once on that one. Remember that werewolf, that pork, that pig thing grows into a big monster I posted once. You like that. That's what it reminded me of, like taking an old Southern myth or and do it into a comic, and that's why I really liked it. Yeah,
I really like how original it is.
Yeah, it's very original. Yeah, I like it.
Baluchi's is Pakistani, not Indian. Okay, Baluchistan is part of Pakistan. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm curious. Is there a difference between Indian food and Pakistani food? And I imagine Indian, because there was believe it or not, in Queens, and Elmhurst is like little India, in Elmhurst, Queens, and there's a million Indian restaurants. So I don't go to Manhattan anymore. If I really, really want good Indian food, I'll go to Elmhurst, Queens. The problem is it's impossible to park. But believe it or not, my favorite Indian restaurant is called the Elmhurst Diner. The Elmhurst Diner was a big diner right by the 7 train. You get off at 25th Street in Elmhurst, and you just walk right there. And Indians bought the diner. So it looks like an all-American diner, but it's all Indian food, and they just kept the name because it was famous. And it was so good, but the menu was split into like Indian food that we know, and then Dravidian food, and they had like dulsas, those big, almost like a, yeah. I just love that place. Yeah, and all the Indian places seem to have a buffet. That's like, just get the buffet because you'll get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
To be clear, I only moved to Mexico when I was 12, but I also ate burgers, pastas, hot dogs, corn dogs, ribs, fried chicken, Chinese food sandwiches, all growing up too. Good for you. Good for you. What is the food that you eat there? Because I know Mexican food that we eat in America is not like real Mexican food. I know when I lived in Albuquerque, there was like more authentic Mexican food places, and it was not the stuff that's popular. What we eat as Mexican food is basically Tex-Mex.
Right, that's right.
Hey, how you doing? Happy 4th, guys. Have a great night. Yeah, tomorrow's my favorite night of the year
Are you going to have that big block party you guys have?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping so. This is what, my fifth year in this house. Yeah, I think this is my fifth year in this house, or maybe my fourth year. I forget. But every year, except for last year, it went nuts. There's people just walking in the streets and fireworks. It's, I buy my beer. I only need a 6-pack. I'm not a big drinker. My wife and I sit in the road and watch all the fireworks, talk to all the neighbors. I love it. Just that last year, the house that seems to be the biggest party house, their grandmother was in a hospice, so they didn't.
Oh no!
So it was pretty quiet. So, not to be morbid, but she can't be around now. So, if she was in a hospice last year, so I'm hoping. And they're already partying right now. My wife said there's like 1 million cars in their driveway, so they're probably gonna get all tanked up and have a blast tomorrow night. If you're ever in Jersey, Bollywood Takta in East Brunswick. Okay, that sounds good. Yes, the dishes are the same, but the contents are different. Pakistani is meat-based, but Indian is vegetarian. North Indian is Aryan. South Indian, yes, Dravidian, yes. It's funny that the word Aryan, our friend Hitler made that word not popular, but the Aryans were, some of them went to India, some of them went to Greece and Europe, so they share a lot of the same root words, a lot of the same root myths. But we don't say it. We don't say Aryan anymore. We say Indo-European. The food I mostly eat in Mexico are burgers, pizzas, pastas, Chinese food, dumplings, stromboli, Mexican food.
Stromboli, there you go.
I'm starting to think, like, with TV and ease of travel, like the whole world is becoming like one culture. Some of the Mexican food restaurants also sell burgers. Yeah. Okay, we got. Speaking of. Hope Tony shows up. I was talking about Albuquerque. So this is the link. Anybody wants to pop in. So this is what it's clobbering time. We've just been going from continent to continent. And this is what I imagine that we'll do tonight. I'm sure we'll stray, but I wanted to talk about Asia as a continent and characters in Asia that operate in Asia. So I don't want to talk about like Shang-Chi. We already did that when we talked about Asian superheroes, So this is like, all you manga guys, this is your chance to teach me about stuff that I don't really know.
Yeah, we better get somebody who knows about
manga. I'm hoping people show up because I don't really know a lot of Asian characters. This is me asking to learn some stuff. So, you could talk Astro Boy, whatever, One Piece. I don't even know the name of Berserker. Is Berserker an Asian character? That's set in Norway, right? So that's weird. It's set created in China or Japan rather than set in Norway. So I guess that's not an Asian character. Or is it? I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about. So, Marcus, do you have anything?
Well, we could, I remember, well, I will say this, like when I was in college, there was a bookstore. My friend went to a Japanese bookstore. He did buy manga. Manga really did start back in the black and white boom of the 80s with Viz. And then everybody remembers Lone Wolf and Cub, right? Because Dark Horse published them and with Frank Miller covers, and that was a classic story that's been ripped off. The samurai who protects a little baby, and so we went, and so he could buy. This is before Marvel reprinted Akira. He bought it in, from that bookstore. Where was that bookstore? Near 30 Rock.
Stanley's Universe.
That was a comic store. This was a manga bookstore, a Chinese bookstore.
Oh, it was only manga.
We went there too. We went to all those, and that was a big deal. It was getting influential to the artists then. We went. I went to school with a guy who did manga, American manga, and did work for ElfQuest, and he was drawing it way back when. Everybody thinks this is all brand new, but it's been a slower growth than people think.
You brought back a memory of Lone Wolf and Cub. That was First Comics, right?
First, it wasn't. I think Dark Horse finished it, but it was First. Yes.
Yeah, First Comics. They brought over a whole bunch of manga. There was Mai the Psychic Girl.
I remember that.
Mai the Psychic Girl, Area 88, Macross Saga, Lone Wolf and Cub. I remember getting as a kid, even before that, Go 13. Do you ever read that?
I remember it. I don't remember. I remember some of it. Yeah, I always remember the comics. It doesn't mean I read them all.
Go 13. Uh, Golgotha 13. He was the world's greatest assassin. And I just remember looking at the cover, and I was like, I didn't like the art. Back then it seemed like that the manga style was all very similar. Lone Wolf and Cub was, to me, had like different art, and that don't yell at me. I'm just going through memory, but I didn't like the art, but I just remembered how interesting it was. Like this guy, the infallible assassin, the stuff that he would do, and I thought it was so cool and clever. But what bothered me was you bought the book and it was like a thick manga, small manga stuff, but it was made in America, so you didn't read it backwards. You read it the right way, and obviously it was in English. But like the first 18 pages were in color, and then the rest was in black and white. I always thought that was like, come on, man, finish the whole book. I don't know if that was a Japanese thing or not.
That's the way it was then,
But once you got into the story, it was you got into it. The very first manga I ever read was Barefoot Gang. Did you ever read that? Barefoot Gen? I don't know Barefoot Gen, but it's a survivor story from Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and it's heartbreaking, And I remember reading it. You can't help but feel bad for it because it's just the story of a little kid who survived the nuclear attacks, and I'm not one of these people that are going to be like, oh, America, shame on you or anything like that. Like, but it is heartless if some 12-year-old kid running around, he doesn't understand what's going on. Kids are innocent kind of thing, and next thing you know, the bomb is dropped, and he only survived because he was in some sort of ditch at the time playing with friends, and everybody else was like.
When he wasn't in a refrigerator like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he was in a refrigerator. But it was heartbreaking, right? And his father, I remember in the comic, his father was a kamikaze pilot, or he got, what's the word, shanghaied to be a kamikaze pilot, and he didn't want to go. The father. It's not so much that he was a coward, but he was like, I'm just going to go and fly an airplane and die. Like, can't we come up with a better strategy than that? So everybody that they started ostracizing him and the family because he didn't want to go. And he just was like saying goodbye to his son and flying. So it was just like sad all around. You know what I mean? Like his own government, like made his father go kill himself. And his father didn't want to do it. So they were like shunning the family. It was just I remember my father read it, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, read this. It's like a survivor from Hiroshima, And my father grew up, and he read the whole book, and he goes, "Those Japs deserved it."
Well, your father says that, and I just got the book, Chuck Dixon, Jackson Geisses. I got that hardcover.
Yeah, Storm in Paradise.
Yeah, I came into some money, so I got it. It's a beautiful book. And you read about it, like the Pacific Theater was way rougher. It was rougher than European because they fought by no rules and they were uniquely cruel. Right. And there's all sorts of things like if what the Japanese people did to the Chinese people. And I mean, I don't want to say the words because YouTube gets you for that. And I hate when you make those YouTube words up. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Or you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to. Just awful, violent things. I hate those fake words. It drives me insane.
Yeah. I know it's fashionable. It's fashionable right now to make fun of Europeans and white culture and everything like that. But like, we fought by rules of engagement.
What I mean? Germans did have some rules. They were cruel. Now that was not in the internment camps, obviously, but as fighting soldiers, yes.
Right. We treated our prisoners pretty well and everything, and then the Japanese told the soldiers that we are going to eat them, and you know what I mean, and come in and assault all the women, so like they were just like slaughtering themselves as we were coming, and then they, wait a minute, you guys just put us in camps, but like the Chinese were cruel to the Japanese were cruel to the Chinese, the Japanese, I hate to say it, but like we bombed them into good behavior. Like the Japanese are like the nicest.
Well, you know what happened though. I mean, and the reason why manga's here, a lot of it. We helped rebuild. I mean, MacArthur stayed behind, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that was the big rebuild, and that's something we're known for, is to rebuild these countries after. Well, we don't do that anymore because that's not, the engagement's different. But
Yeah. I urge everybody to go read Storming Paradise.
yeah, I just got it. It's just, you know what? I read it. I've read it before.
Yeah, I got the
I
6
read it
issue
online,
Image.
and I don't know if I want the book because it's a beautiful book, and I want to look at all the work. But it is harrowing story. It makes you really think, and it doesn't pull any punches at all about the violence of war, how those guys got along, and all that. And if you do a war comic, a war movie that's really good, it's anti-war because nobody wants to go through that, right?
Yeah,
but it's not anti-war. It's not like that.
Every war story is an anti-war story, or you're not doing it right.
A good one anyway, right? Not like Sergeant Fury. Although some of his issues were, but not most of them.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, read Story Paradise to get like what could have happened. What could have happened? An annihilation of an entire culture.
That's what would have happened, clearly, and they didn't. We saved the culture.
I get so mad when people talk. America is the most tolerant country in the world. I mean, we fought and saved Japan when they were cruel to us, And I wonder because I know that there's some old time Japanese guys that hate us or whatever, but like, I don't know, Japan's like one of the only countries I still want to visit.
Well, it's like Europe hating us, and if we didn't get into the war, I don't know what would have happened there.
Maybe they'd all be speaking German, but they wouldn't be speaking Arabic. I don't know.
Well, that's a different war that happened after that. We have nothing to do with it, and we're fighting it ourselves. So,
I know what is Raj Comics India with heroes like Shakti's Filipinos, Lars Ravolo comics with characters like Dharma and.
Why doesn't Harrowberg come in if he could come in? He's very good at this stuff.
Yeah, I can't pronounce these things. Yeah, the first mangas I read in the 80s were My the Psychic Girl, Ranma 1/2. Now
I remember My the Psychic Girl.
I forgot about Robotech. I remember Ranma 1/2 came out. I didn't read it though. Yeah, Iwo Jima was a hellscape. The Nanjing Massacre. Yep. Iwo Jima. It was such a hellscape we had to say it twice. We still left. The International Stabilization Force just landed outside Gaza this week. We'll see how that works. Yeah. Well, did you ever see that movie, The Mouse That Roared?
No, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's an old 60s movie, and it's the first Doctor. I forget the actor's name from Doctor Who. He's in it. It's one of his roles that's not Doctor Who, before Doctor Who. And the premise of the movie is it's this little tiny European country, and they declare war on the United States because they're poor.
Actually, I think I've heard of this. Yeah,
and they want the United States to.
I do. I may have seen this in school.
The movie premise is like they say, like the United States is, and this was a British movie. This is a European movie. They're saying that America is the oddest country in the world. They will defeat you in combat and then build your country up. So I don't see anything else to do other than declare war on the United States. Now the thing is, somebody invented a nuclear bomb that a tritium bomb or something. I forget what they called it, but it was like 1 million times more powerful than Hiroshima. And it was like the size of a golf ball. And through a series of mishaps, this little country had it. So the United States surrendered because they didn't know where the bomb was and they couldn't take the risk. So now this little tiny nation defeated America. And they're like, no, we're supposed to lose. Yeah. Yeah. But that just shows you the reputation of the United States. So America's a racist. Shut up.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. America is too good. The problems that we're having in America is because we're too tolerant.
Yes. Yeah. It's really true. It's really true. We are tolerant, and now people are taking advantage of that.
Yep.
And because we're so tolerant, it said you go back, and it goes back to when everybody got a chance to marry, not just a man and a woman. And everybody goes, they live together already, and they can be legally. Well, why not? Why not? Sure, that's not a big deal. Of course, that wasn't the end game, was it? That was only the beginning.
Well,
and nobody ever sees that. But we're okay. Oh, two people know whatever. Live and let live.
We have lifelong benefits. You just come here and get. People come here illegally. They treated better. I've been working my whole life. I'm struggling to pay my bills. Hey, Herwenberg, how you doing?
Oh, hey, good evening, guys. Came back from a Garden State Con last week. It was really fun over there.
How was it?
Great.
It was, as usual, kind of mid on sales, but still tons of fun. There was, I don't know, 50, 60 creators, really 2 rooms full of action. This year, however, they didn't have the usual, cigar party and the row.
Yeah, they didn't go.
Yeah, nobody went, but yeah, I talked to some other cool people, and
Vaughn messaged me. Vaughn Colvin
Vaughn was just down the row from us. Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
And he asked me if I was coming, and I was this close to leaving, but Chris Hicks said nobody's coming this year. Don't bother.
Nobody went this year. It wasn't a good time.
Well, there was still a lot of creators. I'll tell you who was there, who was related. There was a guy who I forget. He was right across from me, but he had a lot of cool books, superhero books, and Lopresti and Andy Smith did work for him. I forget his name right now. And the other guy who was pretty obvious. But go ahead.
Nicholas Gear, not Gear.
No. Somebody else.
I think I know who it is. Oh, Zaffo.
He had a universe called the COU. Does that?
Yeah, Zaffo.
Christian, yeah, it was Christian.
Zaffo. Yeah, I know him.
He was across from us, and the other guy that I talked to who was cool, who worked with like Malin and stuff. Chris Graves had his stuff there.
Oh, I like Chris Graves. He's a nice
Chris
guy
is great. Yeah, he had a new book called Pain something and Pain.
Right and Pain. Yeah,
Right and Pain. That's it. Yeah.
So he does it with Mark Polton.
That's a good comic. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Is it really good, John? Because I was thinking about getting it. I like Chris a lot.
It's one of my favorite comics by Mark Polton.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a that and Shrine. I think if I remember correctly, Shrine is a Polton comic, but Writhe in Pain is like it's like an image comic written by somebody who can actually write.
Yeah, it's very imagey, but what I was going to say, Graves was selling a bunch of Polton materials. So, yeah, that was cool to meet him. Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
How'd you do? You have your girls there? You stable of girls? You
harem. No, we had, I had one actress, Bridget, who plays Arctica, who you may have seen.
Arctica. Is that my favorite?
She did a great job. So, yeah, no real complaints. It's just that it's not like a huge selling audience. I think for some reason I got to compliment you down there in Charlotte, because I think the Southern crowd is more open to new stuff. Maybe they're just more nice about it. The New Jersey, New York crowd, they're kind of hard-assed about it. So
really, well,
yeah, I don't know why, but yeah.
Arctica is one of my favorites. I enjoy drawing her on that show, and you put it in the back of your comic too.
And we did, and it looks great. Thanks for doing that. Man.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun with that. Was a fun. Maybe we'll have you on again when Drawing Enemies. I mentioned it.
I would be.
That would be on Omer without Don. So
yeah, she'd be happy to do that. Hey, Tony. Hail, Tony.
Hey, everybody.
So, since Herwenberg showed up, Tony, we'll talk in a second. But Herwenberg, you were mentioning a bunch of comics that I'd never even heard of.
Yeah. So there's, obviously there's Japanese and probably Korean, but the 3 universes I'm kind of aware of and that I actually read books of or, watched TV shows of is there's one in India called the Raj Comics universe. It's basically like the Marvel of India. They have a lot of long-standing superheroes since the 80s. They have Nagraj, which just basically means Snake King. They have Shakti, who's she's a powerful. Her name is Power. That's Shakti. They have a few others. I can't remember right now. And the other 2, of course, is Mars Ravello's fantastic universe in Philippines, which has been going on since the 50s with Darna, Captain Barbell, Elastic Man, and all those Valentina, all those characters. And the third one, which I discovered more recently, is Indonesia. There's a universe which both does comics and movies called Boomalangit, and they've done movies for their. There's a guy from the 50s who started these characters, and I guess this newer guy who makes the movies took it over from him. and they have heroes such as Godam, Gundala, and Sri Asi, who is kind of like the Wonder Woman of Indonesia. And they had a new like martial arts woman. Her name is Tara. All of those have books out too. Anyway, yeah, those are the three I'm kind of aware of outside of the usual, Japanese, Korean type axis. I don't really know what China's doing, if anything. You'd think that there'd be comics from there.
I'm looking up Raj Comics.
Raj Comics, yeah.
Yeah, this looks pretty good. Let me.
Yeah, they have hundreds and hundreds of books out. They're basically like the Marvel of India. Most of the rest of comics in India. Yeah, there you go, Nagraj.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I have some of those digital, but it's hard to read, obviously, because they're in Hindi. But you kind of just catch the action because they haven't really been, surprisingly translated. The other thing that's really big in India is mythological comics, and those I see at local Indian grocery stores. There's a store right down from Fanma the Addicts Comics in the university area called Kohli's, and they actually had a rack for a while of mythological comics, comics from the Mahabharata and the Vedas and stuff like that. But yeah, there's Nagraj. He's saving, I don't know, or maybe he's swinging with his superpowered girlfriend. That's not Shakti, though. Shakti, she has like a tiger looking, you can find her, tiger looking costume. She's a teacher, who becomes superpowered and kind of stops sexual assault in India, which is nice, because they do have some of that. I forget.
That's their biggest export.
That is. So other than Nagraj and Shakti, there's probably 4 or 5 other prominent characters with Raj Comics. I don't have them at the tip of my tongue right now, but Wikipedia has a little thing on it, I'm sure. Yeah, so that's the main Indian one. And I've also been watching, I also watched a lot of great Indian superhero movies. The main one that has done the most money, like Superman level money, is called Krish. There's a superhero called Krish, and Krish, from Krishna. And
Okay.
he has 3 movies, 1, 2, and 3. And then there's a movie called Devi, which means goddess, of course. And there is a TV show called Snake Girl. Man, I forget the name of it in India, but that just came out 2 years ago, and it's kind of like a lower budget, kind of CW looking type of show, where this hairdresser turns into a snake woman, and she fights mythological creatures and stuff like that. Yeah, I forget the name of it right now, but I can probably find it really quickly here. It is called Nagkanya. That's it. Snake Girl, Nagkanya. Yeah, that's Shakti right there. And I guess they're fighting a goblin, some sort of Rakshasa demon. The evil villains are usually called Rakshasas in India, which means demon. In fact, one of the firestorms in that multiple firestorm story, well, there was a bunch of them from around the world. There was an Indian girl called Rakshasa, but she was one of the good guys. But that was her name.
In D&D, there was a creature called the Rakshasa, and it looked like the drawing was like a tiger guy with a pipe and a jacket.
Oh yeah, so I mean it's a standard kind of demonic character in Hindu mythology. But yeah, you got another superhero there who kind of looks like an X-Man, but I don't remember his name, unfortunately. But Shakti's the one on the left there. She's on the one on the left. Yeah.
I just want to. Dave Brink is here. I just want to shout out. I got this hardcover Perfect 10. This is so good. Look at this. Look at this. All 6 issues. And I'm rereading the 6. I didn't read issue 6 yet. I'm rereading them now because I want to get all the details. So Vaughn doing it right.
Vaughn just told me that you can get that from RJ of Critical Blast. You can get that whole book. So I'm going to be ordering that this week from him, I guess. Yeah.
There you go. This is right up your alley there, Hohenberg.
Yep. That booty is definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dave is one of the guys doing it right. He's doing it right.
No, it might be the best indie superhero book.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
At least a crowdfund one. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of crowdfund superhero books, next week we'll launch it on Kickstarter. Check out the Christmas special. Yeah, it $10, 2 complete stories, and it's done, guys. It's done. It's happening. It's none of this wait 40 years for a comic book. Yep. And get Safeguard. That's right now on Kickstarter for
Marcus, yeah.
Yeah.
Might I also mention a Kickstarter that Comicsburg is doing? It has 2 weeks left.
Yes.
It's the Comicsburg Sampler, which features stories from all 6 creators in the Comicsburg Collective. It's just pretty much called Comicsburg Sampler #1. It's on Kickstarter and has 2 weeks left. We just reached goal yesterday, but people can still back it, and it's a pretty cool sampler. If you haven't checked out, hey there, David. If you haven't checked out what Comicsburg is doing, it's a great sampler. Yeah.
Do you still talk to Marvin from Edge?
Yeah, of course. We were in Charlotte together. Yeah.
I tell him I said hello. It's been a while since I talked to him. He sent me a message.
Yeah.
And then I responded to him, and I haven't heard from him. So I hope everything's okay. He's one of the first people to ever come on my channel. You know,
he's around. He's around and he's busy. Yeah, he has a Kickstarter for the Edge 12, or I think
12?
Grant, yeah, Edge 12. Grant has a Kickstarter for his new issue of Grendel's Curse, which is the second Beowulf series. And like I said, Comicsburg Sampler #1 also is a Kickstarter. So we actually have at least 3 out right now at the same time, overlapping in duration. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Cool. So that's pretty cool. A lot of good stuff going on. Guys, check it out. Check it out. You know, I think a rising tide floats all boats. You know, a bunch of people. Herwenberg's been making comics and TV shows before I've been doing this stuff, so he's been doing it right. And Marvin Wynn, right? Is that his name, right?
Yes, Wynn. W-Y-N-N.
His comics, like, if they look like the best of image art with the guy who could actually write a story.
A guy from the Philippines, in fact. Speaking of agents.
Oh,
yeah.
So Tony, I always like when you pop up. I know you got some characters that I probably have never heard of before. So, you know, what do you got?
Well, I want to start with the most important one and the oldest. In fact, he is so old, he is probably should be considered the oldest modern day superhero. Debuted in 1930, The Golden Bat. I don't know if you can grab a image of that, John.
Yeah,
but
I'll look it up right now. I knew who you were talking about, but I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah,
okay, well, this character debuted not in manga, but in something called Kami Shabai Theater, which I'm going to say these names in Japanese. The mispronunciation is there. Please forgive me. You know, I'm trying my best. Paper theater is what that means. Basically, a dude comes into a space with this little miniature set, like a theater kind of a thing, and he puts pictures there, and he narrates the pictures, and then he changes the pictures for like sequential art, essentially, kind of like a comic book. Imagine a guy reading you a comic book, like what you do, John, for Sunday Comics, essentially.
Okay.
And this character was created by Suzuki Ichiro and Takeo Nagamatsu. And essentially what this character is the Spectre. He's one of these omnipotent characters that can, there he is, there you go, that can do anything. He can grow real big, he can shrink real small, he could turn you into a pillar of salt, he could do anything. He can do pretty much anything. And as boring as that sounds, it's kind of that these stories are really cool. I first encountered him. A friend of mine had a bunch of bootlegs from the anime that he had in the 60s. And he was like, oh, wow, this character is cool. Who is he? And he explained who he was to me. And then he told me the really interesting, long, complex history of him. A lot of lost media. He had a couple of movies in the 40s, late 40s, early 50s that are just gone.
Wow.
They're lost media. No one knows whatever became of it.
This is just another thing I'm fascinated with. In the old film stock was made out of silver nitrate.
Mm-hmm.
Silver nitrate basically bled, like after a while, reacting with moisture. If I'm sure Herwenberg, he knows everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, Herwenberg.
What?
The silver nitrate film stock, when it mixed with humidity and everything, it would actually secrete basically an explosive.
It would explode, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm right. All right. And a lot of these old film warehouses burnt down.
Yes,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like 8 of the first 10 movies to win an Oscar don't exist.
Yep.
And there's a big pro. I remember as much as he got on my nerves, the guy, Meathead, who just got murdered by his own son.
Rob Reiner.
As much as I could stand Rob Reiner and Ed Asner, that was one of the things that they were big on, is transferring all these silver nitrate films into modern celluloid, so like they wouldn't explode. But there was a lot of like, you know, in the Jim Crow times, there was like a lot of segregated black movies, and there was like a thriving black Hollywood.
Oh yeah, these 30s and 40s.
Yeah, a lot of these movies just don't exist. Like whole movie stars that nobody knows anything about.
Apparently, there was a huge fire, among others, the 1937 Fox Corporation fire.
I've heard about that fire.
Yeah. So silver nitrate burns 3 times faster than paper. It's crazy. Yeah.
And it explodes under certain weird conditions.
Right.
So Tony, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wonder if that's this. You know what I mean? Because I can't see the Japanese had celluloid before we had celluloid. You know?
It certainly could. There are stills available of some of the scenes from his various films, but the films themselves are lost. He's a really interesting character.
Like him.
I said, he could be considered the very first modern day superhero. He predates the Phantom. He predates Dr. Occult. Obviously, Superman.
Okay. He's not the oldest. He might be the oldest Asian. He's definitely not the oldest superhero, though, because, and there might be even older ones than this, but the oldest female superhero I found is from 1909. It was a French character called Loisel, the little bird. So, yeah, she. It was an illustrated magazine of a woman who built a costume and flying wings and went around saving people. So, yeah, there might be stuff older than that even. Yeah.
What's the name of the character? I want to look her up.
Loisel, Loiselle.
Lois.
Yeah. So supposedly the oldest female superhero, not of course Asian, but I mean I don't know who the oldest male one is.
Spell it again. I got
Loisel, Loiselle, with a apostrophe before the L. Loisel.
Okay, well, go ahead, Tony. I'm just looking.
Sorry about that. Just letting you know.
I'm interested. I've never heard of this character. I'm kind of wondering what she looks like.
She looks like, you know, those kooky inventors who tried to build wings and fly before the Wright brothers. She looks exactly like one of those, but in like a tight cat suit. So there you go.
So she's like Fantomas from the 1904, right? So she's like a pulp character, essentially, a proto pulp character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she actually has powers, but she has a costume and wings. Yeah.
Yeah, that interesting time between the Penny Dreadfuls and the modern day pulps, where you had stuff like the Phantom of the Opera, Fantomas, Arsène Lupin.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's her character is a cool design though.
I gotta check.
There she is. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that is a cool design. That's like that Toulouse-Lautrec poster.
Yeah, it's very like turn of the century. What do you call femme de siècle, right? The turn of the century femme de siècle,
right.
World's Fair looking type thing. You know, like we're about to take to the air. We're a new civilization. You know, that kind of
I could just see the Frenchman like falling down. It's just like, we're gonna get rescued by camel toe from the sky.
Yeah, that'll work.
So tell us more about Golden Bat, because I wish I knew about her during the when we did Europe.
No, he's essentially he's like the Spectre. You know, he's omnipotent. You know, he could do anything. He could. I mean, his powers are essentially whatever the plot needs it to be.
Now, I find like when you get these super omnipotent characters, they always seem to like fade into the background, like and they're just like an instrument of morality. Like the Spectre, after a while, like when he was just like Ghost Cop guy, he was kind of cool. But as he got more and more powerful, it was just kind of like they focused on the bad guy doing bad stuff, and then the Spectre showed up and punished him. Is it the same with the Golden Bat?
Well, yeah, kind of. He really got popular in Japan and most of Asia in the 60s, where they sort of kind of depowered him a little bit, but not too much. They gave him a arch enemy called Dr. Nazo. Was a very interesting design, I believe. He's like a guy up here, but he's like a flying saucer down here, I think.
What's his name?
Hmm?
What's his name? I gotta look him up.
Dr. Nazo, Nazo.
That's a great name.
And
Nozzle.
yeah, that's his arch enemy.
Oh my God.
From the 60s anime. And
Oh,
he's popped in and popped out. He's always been in Japanese culture since his debut. Again, he influenced Osamu Tezuka, the creator of Mighty Atom or Astro Boy, as everyone would know.
This is the best picture, but every other picture, like when I tried to blow it up, would turn blank.
Nazo in Japanese means mystery or enigma or riddle.
Oh,
I think that's him. Yeah.
So he's Dr. Enigma or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And
but I love the 4-color eyes.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. He's very important. A lot of people should not only weebs but comic book enthusiasts like ourselves should know a little bit more about him. But unfortunately, not a lot of his stuff has been translated to English. So unless you're in the know, you don't know much about him. There he is. Yeah,
I love that. That is so cool looking.
Yeah, and at the bottom is like a spaceship, I believe. So yeah, it's an interesting design. It's really cool.
Is that
I think
from the
I just came up with a new villain for the public eye.
Is that from the 60s anime?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Okay, because that looks very 60s. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no Dr. Nazo in the 30s and 40s. This was all later. But the thing I loved about the character in the anime was he had this creepy laugh. You could tell the people that wrote him, that created him, got a lot from the pulps. Now it predates. No, it didn't predate The Shadow. The Shadow came out in 1930, but I don't know if The Shadow was being broadcast in Japan. I'm not sure, but this character has a shadow laugh. Whenever he does stuff, he goes, it just deep belly laugh, deep hearty belly.
The mad scientist laugh, right? They all practice that. They all go to.
Yeah. And
it's funny. As a side of nothing, I give away too much after yesterday saying I'm not going. But I'm working on a secret project, and I was goofing on the sequel. And the sequel, I want to have like a bunch of mad scientists sitting at a table, and basically they're all like trying to laugh louder, like dominance through laughing. Like one guy laughs and another guy's like, "That's not how you laugh. This is how you laugh." I just thought that would be a funny scene, but appropriate of them.
That's like a Mel Brooks scene, John.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, John, you reminded me I'm finished. Now I have to just basically type up what I've written down in.
Oh wow! I didn't want to bug you.
You know, I'll be sending you something short.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I came up with a character, and I said I don't know enough about this, and then something said Tony would know because you know about the pulps. So I was like, "Hey Tony, you want to write a story?" So there you go. We'll see what happens with it. I just gotta make sure it fits in with my world continuity. I'm sure you invented Atlantis or they traveled to space worlds and stuff. I have some Japanese anime superheroes anime you guys might like. Hurricane, Polymer, Kasan, Tekkaman. Gatchaman's the only one I know. Kamen Rider I know.
Gatchaman. Yeah.
Ultraman and Project Red I don't know. Metal Hero sounds good. And Super Sentai. What is Sentai? I keep hearing the term Sentai and I really don't know what it means.
Sentai is the Japanese word for squadron or team.
It's like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, essentially. That's
Sentai, right?
Yeah, but Super Sentai was made before Power Rangers.
Yeah, I know.
You know what's funny is when I lived in Albuquerque, I had this roommate, Evan. And Evan he would go to LA and stay there for like 4 or 5 months and then come back. So for 4 or 5 months, he was the greatest roommate in the world because he wasn't there. and then he would show up, and then he would just sit in the house and drink and smoke pot and not move because he worked for his year. But he was one of the cameramen for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I hated Evan, so I hate the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So.
Well, I never got into them. I'm too old.
I mean, I was too old at the time, and he would just talk about what a horrible time he had on the set and everything like that. And
really, that sucks.
yeah, he said Saban was so cheap. And the only cool thing about it is we would watch the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and he would point out stuff like, "You see that? See that costume? That's going to be reused in episode 6." You know what I mean? And then like he would point out like underneath the costume, you'd see this. Like they would use old Power Ranger costumes just to put on the actor underneath the monster costume, like stuff the little kids wouldn't notice because they were just trying to save a buck. Hey,
I just remember his origin. He's essentially
I'm sorry.
The golden bat. He's a Atlantean sorcerer.
Oh, okay.
He's a lich, but he's an Atlantean, so he's from Atlantis. So yeah, I don't know how much of Howard influenced this. I don't know, but it's very odd. You have the shadow. I have to try to figure out when. I think King Kull was 1928, maybe. I'm not sure, but you have like an undead Atlantean lich that laughs like the shadow. So it's kind of very, very, very pulpy. But there you go.
What's the Golden Bat's origin? Do you know?
That's it. He's an Atlantean lich.
Oh.
He.
I thought you meant Dr. Nazlo was in
modern times, and he does good things, unlike Thulsa Doom or trying to remember Skullface, that other character that Robert E. Howard created that also himself happened to be an undead Atlantean lich, but this guy was sort of Fu Manchu adjacent. He was trying to take over the world, essentially.
Okay, Lord Master Vinzinzer, any characters you want to bring up?
Yeah, probably Kamen Rider.
Okay,
since I'm aware of the fun facts about him. Since the fun fact about Kamen Rider is that he was supposed to be this character called Crossfire, but totally rejected and instead Shotaro Ishimori wanted to make an adaptation for his other manga, Skullman, but he decided to proceed with Kamen Rider. And the fun fact about the making of Kamen Rider is that he had to make his son choose which motif would you use for Kamen Rider, and his son chose Grasshopper.
Now, Kamen Rider basically means masked rider, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that comic, Kamen America means masked American.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's why can't I think of the company that does Kamen America?
Iconic Comics.
Iconic Comics. Yeah, Kamen America. Okay, so Kamen means masked. Okay, all right. Because to me, if I don't understand the name, I can't get masked rider. Okay, that makes sense. Masked American. Okay, all right. So there's 3 of them, or is it just 3 different periods of this character?
Probably three different periods of this character. But as for a number of characters, well, there's a lot of different characters. Like for the Showa era, Kamen Rider, Ichigo, and Inigo. Let's see, Kamen Rider V3. Then there's Kamen Rider Amazon. And there's also Kamen Rider X. Let's see what else. Kamen Rider Super 1. Kamen Rider Sky Rider.
Oh.
Kamen Rider Stronger. Kamen Rider Black and Black RX.
Now,
Black RX is the evolution of Kamen Rider Black.
It's funny when you turn your head, I forget that your mask is split. You look like just Spider-Man, and then you turn in and you're Venom. But is this Senpai?
Actually, Sentai.
Sentai, yeah. See, I don't know any of this stuff. This is why I kind of wanted to talk about this, learn about this. Believe it or not, I've only watched like 1 or 2 Godzilla movies in my entire life. Like I just didn't like that it was obviously bad special effects. I know that's the charm with a lot of people, but I was like, it's obviously a guy in a rubber suit knocking over cardboard buildings. So I never liked it as a kid.
Well, but I do enjoy those type of special effects.
Yeah, Amy Jo Johnson. Yeah, she was cute. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I grew up loving Power Rangers as a kid.
That's fine. You like what
A
you
lot
like.
of people did.
I was too old for most of the stuff that people like in this comic book world. Like I was too old for Ninja Turtles. Definitely too old for He-Man, and Thundercats. I never liked Transformers. The G.I. Joe comics, I was on the cusp. I could have liked G.I. Joe, but I just didn't like military comics at the time. And I had a weird thing about Marvel Comics. I did not like when Marvel licensed out other properties. Now, Star Wars didn't bother me too much because Star Wars didn't interact with Marvel. It was understood that Star Wars was its own pocket universe or whatever, but like the Shogun Warriors, Marvel put out a show and they're fighting the Avengers. And even as a kid, I knew it's only a matter of time before Shogun Warriors moves on to another company. And then we're just supposed to pretend the Avengers never met them. So, I never liked any of that,
So
I thought G.I. Joe was going to be the same thing, so I never got it.
So, John, we didn't talk about one genre of Japanese stuff that has a special name, tokusatsu, right?
Yep.
Tokusatsu is basically, and it means special effects. So it refers to any kind of like superhero or adventure thing that uses lots of special effects and powers. So Power Rangers are an example of tokusatsu, but there's tons of others, like a lot. Both G-rated and even X-rated ones in Japan.
Oh, I'm sure.
Japan, sure.
Yeah, but tokusatsu is a big word. To know about that.
The only word that I know is tonkatsu, which is the pork broth for ramen, which is delicious.
Which is delicious.
Speaking of tokusatsu, I have another tokusatsu character to bring up.
Who?
Garo.
Gata, Gatta.
No, Garo. Garo. Garo.
Garo. What is Garo?
Garo's like this. Is some sort of warrior.
Oh, I thought it was
who fights demons called horrors.
Yeah, there's a lot of TV and movies with Garo in it. Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Oh, this golden guy.
Yes, the golden guy.
Oh wow, he's really
fun fact about Garo. The Garo franchise was supposed to be a comeback for Golden Bat.
Oh, look at that guy! Is cool looking.
Yeah, I know. Again, Garo was supposed to be Golden Bat, but decided to stick with Garo instead.
What do you mean he was supposed to be Golden Bat? Like it's a reimagining of Golden Bat, or
yes, it was a reimagining of Golden Bat.
Oh,
Since I remember watching, are you talking about Golden Bat?
Garo Goldstorm Flight is the name. I'm reading it. Yeah, I'm reading the Wikipedia of him. Yeah, I see. I don't know any of this stuff. I grew up liking my Marvel and DC, and then expanded into American comics. I didn't know any of this, and quite frankly, I was like, I didn't want to get into Japanese comics because it was so big, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to understand. Like, if I can't, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound kind of guy, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to understand all of it, so I kind of just noped out. Like now, you're telling me Herrenberg, all of these Indian companies, and then Oscar,
and then Indonesian and Filipino as well, and probably Thailand. There's a bunch of Thailand TV shows I've watched, but I don't know about the comic industry there. Yeah,
I know Marvel reached out and made like an Indian branch of comics. Does anybody know if that's still in existence?
Well, there was an Indian company called Graphic India, which existed for a while. It was an outgrowth of Richard Branson's Virgin Comics.
Yes.
that has a bunch of stuff in it, including a superhero called Devi, which was great. Not related to the movie one in India. I have the whole run of Devi. It's pretty long. Now that was gone, but guess who found her first work?
Yeah, that was Sana Amanat's first.
Sana Amanat found her first work there. Yeah. I think briefly there was a Marvel India reach out that Stan Lee tried to do. He tried to do a young superhero name of Chakra, I think, but I don't think that lasted for too long. But you can look up Marvel's Chakra.
Yeah, and they did an Indian Spider-Man.
Maybe. Yeah, I only remember Chakra though.
Yeah,
I remember the Indian Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So anybody have another character? I have nothing. I literally know nothing. I mean, I could bring up Astro Boy or stuff.
Briefly look up Filipino comics and Indonesia. Look up Filipino. Look up Darna and Captain Barbell. I mean, these are huge heroes.
I'll look up Captain Barbell because I can spell that.
Oh well, Darna is Darna. She's bigger. She has like multiple TV shows and movies over 50 years. She's huge. Yeah.
Oh, the fireworks have started.
Oh, they have. Okay.
Did anybody hear that?
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Nothing outside my window.
I just started here.
My neighborhood goes nuts. I love it. It is Captain Barbell.
Yeah, there he is. And look up Darna. She. I mean, you'll find many actresses playing her and stuff. I mean, there was a TV series that just ended 2 years ago that lasted for 152 episodes. She's pretty much beloved. Like, I don't really understand why Filipinos can't license her in the U.S. Maybe Dynamite could put out it seems like she'd be popular enough. You know how to spell that? Darna?
Yeah. There's a million pictures. I'm trying to get one that.
Oh, there's a million pictures. You'll like those pictures.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a good one. Okay, this one looks like a good one.
There you go.
I could see why you like her.
Yeah, I mean, she's Wonder Woman, Shazam, and Superman kind of combined in that universe. Wait, where'd you go? Where'd she go? Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's the latest one from the new TV series.
Yeah,
she
looks like she should be fighting Flash Gordon in the 80s.
Essentially, she has a Flash Gordon look to her. She swallows a pill, a stone, magical stone, and she says the name Darna to there you go. She says the name Darna to transform, but there's a very legendary phrase. Her younger brother's name is Ding, D-I-N-G. And so the big phrase in the comics and in the TV shows is Ding ang bato, which means ding, the stone. And then for some reason, he always has the stone on him and he throws it to her and then she saves the day. That's the big phrase there. Ding ang bato. Yes. Anyway, there you go.
So that is like the Voltron sword?
Yeah,
Voltron fights ineffectively for 28 minutes.
And wow, look at that.
It slices everything in half.
I mean, every actress who's played her is just like so incredible. Yeah. And the latest one you can look up also, she has many foes, but the most long-lasting one is called Valentina. Look up Valentina, the snake woman. She's kind of similar to the snake princess of many Asian cultures. But yeah, she's like a rich heiress to a fortune, and she's kind of very jealous and evil, kind of very I don't know, just snarky villain. But yeah, look up Valentina in the Darna universe. That's really the best villainess. You got it?
I'm looking it up.
Anyway, yeah, it's just a cool universe. And Captain Bart, the other two big ones, sometimes join her in adventures. There was a cartoon where she joined up with Captain Barbell, who's the Superman, and with Plastic Man, who is the Plastic Man guy. Yeah, anyway, there you go. You got, that's Valentina in the comics, but she looks way better in the TV show. Like, really good. Yeah. She's got like a snake skin. Yeah, but that's her in the comics, sure. Yeah. Kind of like Medusa, kind of like a Wonder Woman type villainess, Cersei or something like that.
Well, I got a one that I like that I grew up reading, and it was released. The translated copies were released by First Comics. John must know what I'm talking about. The covers provided by Frank Miller, Wolf and Cub.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely Wolf and Cub.
Cub, debuted back in 1970 and Weekly Shonen Jump. He's had so many live action films. I don't know if he's had an anime. I'm not sure, but I have the entire collection, the entire run in the other room. Love it. It's basically a dishonored samurai and his son on the run, trying to prove their innocence and get revenge. And it's just such a great story.
So
Yeah.
Tony, there's never been an anime of Lone Wolf and Cub.
That's
There's
too
been
bad.
movies though.
Oh yeah, tons.
Yeah, I've seen the movie, and the thing is, the actor looks exactly like that. I know that there's a famous Japanese actor that I'm sure he's like the John Wayne of Japan or something. Everybody knows him. That I just don't know his name, but I remember watching it on YouTube.
There was a TV series in the 70s.
This is one of the few that I regret not finishing. I go back and get the exact issue.
You really should. There's also now a few that I'd like to bring out, and these I only have a tertiary knowledge of. But they were characters that my big brother was a big fan of them, and they were all created by the same guy. You have Messenger, and you have Devilman. They were created by a guy called Go Nagai. And Great Messenger, John, I think you might know him. He was they did that. They released the giant toys in the 70s, Shonen Warriors. Does anybody remember those big, cheap plastic toys that were like really tall?
I had a
Shogun Warriors.
Shogun Warriors. Thank you.
Yeah, that Marvel did a series. I have a lot of those in the early 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother does too. He has a bunch of those giant robots, but he loves. Oh, there's Devilman. They're interesting stories. The original version of Devilman was, I think he had green skin and red highlights. I'm trying to remember, but I'm used to the 80s OVAs of Devilman. A few years ago,
I love the 80s Devilman OVAs.
Yeah, and Netflix sort of tried to resurrect them with something called Devilman Crybaby. Yeah. And it was okay. It was fine. It wasn't. I like the 80s version of them better. Great Messenger is probably the most beloved of all. Probably one of the earliest. The first one that was like maybe Giant Robo or something, but the one from the 60s. But Great Messenger is probably one of the oldest and probably one of the most beloved of the giant mecha characters. Great design by Go Nagai. Essentially, it's a dude called trying to remember his name. If Danny was here, he'd take over right now. But Koji Kabuto, there you go. And he's in a little spaceship. The spaceship goes over there and lands on the head inside of the cranium here of this gigantic robot.
Mazinga.
Black with this big red V on his chest, and he can shoot his fists up like that. Oh, my brother used to play those all the time when we were growing up.
Yeah, Mazinga Phaser.
And they were really cool. I remember his villains were there was a guy. One of his villains was like a she-male. Half of him, half like Two-Face. Half of his face was feminine.
Baron Ashler?
Yes. No, Messenger. And it was such an interesting collection of rogues gallery. Gigantor, I think, is the first of the mechas, I believe. That's the one that came out in the 60s. That's like that
I remember Gigantor.
That's Great That's Messenger Z right there.
Yeah, I had this Shogun Warrior toy as a kid. I loved this toy. That little rocket ship brain that came out and flew around.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, it was a great design. That was really, really iconic. Really big in Japan. Tried several times to import him over here in the United States, and never, for whatever reason, it just never took. You know, Voltron took. Voltron was a kind of a castrated version of something called Beast King Golem, which is really intense if you watch the original Japanese version.
I never liked Voltron because, like I said, it was the same thing every week. It was he fought and it was ineffective, and then he just took out the sword.
Exactly.
And I hate to say this, I'm going to get Marcus mad by saying this. Same with Thundar the Barbarian. He would fight and then take out the Sun Sword and vanquish it. Just take out the Sun Sword at the beginning and then go make out with Princess Ariel.
The reason why you felt that way, John, is because it was meant to be that way. The original manga, anime, that was based on actually had a story. People died. You know, it was actually very interesting. It had sex, death, incest, cannibalism. I mean, it was rough. And essentially what World Events Productions did was they bought the rights to it and chopped it up, redrew a bunch of things, and just served it up as a kind of a just a lackluster children's TV show. But it did introduce a lot of us in the 80s to animation, what we used to call Japanimation.
Are you talking about Gatchaman, which we know as G-Force?
No, Voltron. Gatchaman was in the 70s. That was Battle of the Planets.
Yeah, because
Right.
he
they
did this.
chopped that up and added spliced in other cartoons like Seven Zark 7 and stuff.
Yes, exactly. He did that in the 70s, and then in the 80s, you had a guy called Carl Machek, who essentially took Macross and two other cartoons, cut them up, squeezed them together, and created something called Robotech.
Robotech, yeah.
And I loved when I was Robotech. I still have such a soft spot in my heart for the Valkyrie robots. Such a great, but these are things that I mean, I would recommend the original Macross shows. They're very, very good. Kamiko tried to import a lot of that in the 80s. The 80s, I always say, the 80s was the dawn of the modern.
Yeah, that's what we said earlier.
Japanese stuff tried coming into the United States in the 60s with Gantor and with Astro Boy, and with the Godzilla films, obviously, but it never really broke. And then in the 70s, you had Sandy Frank with Battle of the Planets, but never really broke. It was the 80s where you had the black and white independent comics boom, people in Eclipse Comics and First Comics, and then later Epic Comics.
Viz Comics.
Really bringing a lot of that stuff into the United States.
Yep.
I loved it. I mean, I'm not a
do you guys remember there was a character called Ape Man, and it was a cartoon that was in black and white, and he looked like the Bullseye, but he had an 8 on his forehead.
That was like RoboCop. That was a robot, a cyborg. That was it was just like RoboCop.
But the funny thing about that is my two older brothers were playing, and back then, you know, we had BB gun, pellet guns and stuff, and it was a rifle, and it had 2 circles on it. And my brother was playing, and my other brother jumped up, and my brother went like this and cut his forehead 2 circles. So he had a scar for a long time that looked like an 8. So he was like, I'm 8 Man. So I never saw the cartoon, but my brother, because of this stupid childhood accident, was 8 Man for the longest time.
The old cartoon is good. It's decent, but I remember the 8 Man from the 80s, the OVAs from the 80s. I can't tell you how violent, ridiculously violent and gory a lot of those 80s OVAs were. God, I loved them. They were so cool. Anime, I was really into it in the 80s when I was really, really small, and the 90s. That's when Streamline Pictures, Carl Machek basically started importing that stuff constantly. You had Ghost in the Shell, you had Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's the original 8 Man. That's a really cool character. I saw those.
It's funny, my memory's playing tricks. I remember him looking different. I remember him having an 8 on his, but that's probably because of my two brothers. Yeah, but I always thought it was weird that it was a black and white cartoon, you know. I may be old, but cartoons were in color, except for like some really old Popeye.
Giganto was black and white.
It was? It was?
It was, yes.
I wonder if it was recolored by the time I saw it. Now I'm going to look up Gigantor.
But yeah, it was those black and white companies. They were responsible for bringing a lot of that stuff over there. Without them, you know, we wouldn't have Akira. Without, you know, so it was the golden age for me. I still have a bunch of those OVAs and VHS, DVDs, and on Blu-ray. There you go. That's probably one of the. I think that's the oldest. I think that might, if someone knows more than me, that might be the oldest mech, giant mech. I think. I mean, unless Hero and Berg or anybody else can you know, set me straight. But I think that was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well,
I mean, we haven't talked about Gundam Mobile Suit. Speaking of mechs, though.
Oh well, 79. This guy came out in the early.
I
60s.
love
Oh
Gundam.
no, I know. Yeah, I don't know about what the oldest mech is. No.
It says 1963,
Yeah. I'm
and it
saying,
was a manga released in 56. Debuted in U.S. television 66. So how I remember it being born in 65, I will not know, but I do remember it.
it was on TV.
I know, but I was only a year old when it came over.
There was
He came out after black and white cartoons in the early 60s. In fact, Gold
Yeah, this
Key,
is why
Gold,
it premiered on WPIX.
Gold Key Comics released Astro Boy. They also released Giant Robo or Gigantor rather comics. They weren't manga. They were produced in the United States, but they licensed the characters. I don't think it lasted for more than a few issues. Again, it started to trickle into the United States in the 60s, but it didn't really take root until the 80s. I think. I might be wrong.
I must have seen a repeat like 5 years later, after it released, 5 or 6 years later. But it was in New York, so that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Now I can't talk about this without bringing up the Mickey Mouse of Asian characters, the Superman of Asian characters. Everyone here knows him. I don't know if you guys love him. Goku, Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, I've seen Dragon Ball Z, sure.
That holds the record. His debut in 1984 in Shonen Jump holds the record for the most expensive manga ever. In fact, Jake Paul has a copy of it, CGC. I didn't even know CGC slabs manga, but because mangas are huge, but they do, and supposedly it's worth $1 million.
Wow. I do remember. I felt like it was. I watched some of it. You know, it was on here and on my kids, and we watched a lot of Cartoon Network. And you know, I'm watching all the cartoons with them. And later at night, the Goku, you know, that was on. But it was difficult because I didn't see the point. You know, they fought, and then they fought next week, and they fought again, and then they fought again.
Yeah, well, that's when he's an adult. When the strip started in the 80s, essentially it was a Japanese retelling of a Chinese story called The Journey to the East or the West. Is it the East or the West, guys? The one with the Monkey King? Is it Journey to the West? Thank you. And essentially, that's what it was. It was just Kid Goku with the little monkey tail, you know, and his little misadventures, and it was very naughty.
Yeah, I didn't see those.
And then when he grew up, it just became a wrestling match. Essentially, that's what Dragon Ball Z is. Every week, he's gonna fight Majin Buu. He's gonna fight what's his name? Vegeta. He's gonna fight Frieza. He's gonna do this and that and the other. It's just a fight. It's just a like a wrestling match in outer space. I liked it for a bit when I was a kid because of Cartoon Network, because of the Toonami, and then
That's right.
because it got too repetitive, it got too damn boring,
Yeah,
When
and
I was
too many people started to like it. And I'm one of these weirdos that, I believe in gatekeeping. I believe in, the more normies are in your vicinity, the more toxic
oh,
your
I,
family.
I used to be like, I remember my friend Jimmy and I, we were sitting at a bar and we're listening to the Eagles. And this is like 1989, 1990. And I'm just like, man, I wish there was good music in a bar. And he was like, no, he goes, that's going to ruin it. I said, I want to walk into a bar, put money in. This is old days, put quarters in the jukebox. I said, I want to play the Butthole Surfers, the Chili Peppers, the Melvins. And, he's like, no, you don't. And now you could go into a bar and hear the Butthole Surfers, not the Melvins yet, but I can't even stand the Red Hot Chili Peppers anymore. And and now I saw what happened to Dungeons and Dragons, comic books, the Marvel movies. It's like, no, I don't want. The worst thing in the world is when your hobby gets popular.
Exactly. See, back in the 80s and the 90s, anime was something hidden. It was something that very few people knew about. Like if you saw the kid in the 80s in middle school that had the DBZ, the Dragon Ball shirt, or
Right.
or a Macross shirt, you knew that kid was in the know. You knew that kid was cool.
I'm just gonna fill up the coffee cup. I'll be right back.
Yeah, now your grandmother and your aunt knows friggin' Goku. They know all that stuff. So
My wife
it's
and I go down to the food court at the mall once in a while because we go to the arcade and we'll play. And nothing drives me nuts than seeing some like 40-year-old chubby woman with like 6 kids, and she's got a shirt that says Marvel with with the spider webbing through the. And I'm just like, how many comics you got, lady?
exactly. Gatekeeping should be a thing. I always tell people.
I don't want to complain too much because when I was a kid, like I grew up in the 70s, so I was more getting to be adult in the 80s, and I would have just died to get. Like I remember, I would go into Heroes World, right? This is in the early 80s to get the comics, and they had a Wolverine shirt, and it had like Paul Smith Wolverine. And I bought it. Like I had money to buy T-shirts. I bought a T-shirt. I had to because you couldn't get them anywhere. Now you get them everywhere, right?
Yeah, you get it.
We would have loved it. I mean, this is the dichotomy of it all. Back then, we would have loved it. The Rocketeer shirt I bought. I ended up working at Heroes and selling Voltrons like by the tons.
Back in the day when I was a kid, you could get your ass kicked going to school wearing a Superman shirt.
I used to have. They used to sell some comic shirts. My parents would get them. I would wear them to school, and guys like the actor Matt Dillon would make fun of me for wearing a superhero shirt.
Exactly. I mean, back in the day, nerds were out of wood. You earned your nerd cred. Now,
I working in a comic book store, and Larry was selling shirts, and my friend Mike bought a Superman shirt. I bought one too. But after work, we went to a diner, and there was a bunch of cool kids at the diner, and Mike was wearing a Superman shirt. I was wearing a regular shirt. And then the next day at school, like, oh, how's your friend with the underoos? Nowadays, I go to work on a construction site. Like, everybody's got a Batman or a Wolverine shirt. You know what I mean?
It started with Batman '89. I mean, it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
Batman '89 really brought it out.
Absolutely. That changed it. That, like I said, I didn't like the Batman '89 movie, but it succeeded in its purpose in that it showed people that comic book movies were viable. They could be taken seriously, and that Batman was dark and gloomy. Not because up until that point, if anybody's old enough to remember, all of the press before Batman '89 came out was bang, whiz, golly gee, pow, Batman's coming to the big screen. And then after Batman '89, that stuff was dead. That stuff was gone. So the Superman movie, the Christopher Reeve Superman movie and the Tim Burton Batman movie, they elevated the comic book into a viable movie franchise thing. But the Superman movie was excellent. Don't get me wrong. But I had problems with it, but it was excellent. The Batman '89 movie, I don't like, but I'm glad it was made because it changed. And now, like you said, everybody and their grandmother has Batman.
But every adaptation back then where it turned into a kids show, like the original. Somebody was talking about the original Hulk TV show. If I remember right, the first movie, like the pilot, the 2-hour pilot, was really dramatic and excellent, and how he became the Hulk, and Bill Bixby did a great job, and all that. And as it got on, the first season's always pretty good, and it gets dumbed down for the kids because it gets popular. It's for the kids, right? And it's running before Dukes of Hazzard, stuff like that. And that happened to everything that got adapted. It happened to the Batman '89 franchise. By the end, it was just how many toys could we sell for the kids?
Yeah.
I was in the late 70s. I was marketed to for the Linda Carter Wonder Woman. I mean, the third grade. Remember the Scholastic magazines?
Sure.
Well, the third grade version of it was called Super Mag, MAG, and there was a cover of Linda Carter on it with her resplendent cape. The fancy formal cape.
Yeah.
It looked great. But yeah, they were marketing it to third graders and stuff like that, even in the 70s. Yeah.
Even the Wonder Woman at the beginning with the World War II, and then you go back and watch it. Well, this isn't as bad. And then sure, by the second season, it's all for the kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they
did that to all the TV, any action adventure. They did to Charlie's Angels, for God's sake. $6 Million Man started out fairly dramatic. They did it with everything. And then 70s TV did it with almost all those shows, except for
you know what's funny? There was a Rambo cartoon on Saturday morning.
There was
a RoboCop cartoon.
Yep, that's right.
Toxic Avenger cartoon.
There was a what?
Toxic Avenger cartoon.
It was, and the Toxic Avenger comic book.
And Toxic Avenger had boobs, had naked girls in it, and now there's a Saturday morning the Toxic Avenger cartoon. I was saying this the other day with Linda Carter. If Linda Carter showed up in ancient Greece, she would have been worshipped as a goddess.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a couple of women like,
but she couldn't get cast in today's Odyssey.
Yeah, Linda Carter in her prime, and even now, Monica Bellucci and Jennifer Connelly. If those three women just got off a boat in classical Greek, they would have been worshipped. They are sculpted from the divine being. They are. I met Linda Carter once. I was like, I couldn't even speak. She was just so beautiful.
R.I.P. But I would throw in Joanna Cameron. Okay, thanks.
That was Isis, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
What Daisy Duke?
Yeah.
Daisy Duke.
Oh,
that's what's her name?
Catherine Bach.
Wow, that woman.
Her sister wasn't bad either.
Oh, so anyways, to bring it back, in the 90s, it exploded, massively exploded, the Japanese invasion with two things, Ghost in the Shell and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now, yeah. I am a fan of neither of those. I tried them when I was young back in the 90s, and I got into Neon Genesis Evangelion, and then I couldn't stand the main character. I hate Shinji. That's got to be the worst main character I've ever seen. But I did love the robots, the Avas. I love the design for that mech. John, did you ever collect any of the Dark Horse Ghost in the Shell series? I remember that. No?
I watched the original Ghost in the Shell movie, and I just didn't like it.
Yeah, it's hard to get into. I agree
the
with you.
animation is spectacular. But I just couldn't get into it. So, and Akira, I bought a VHS of Akira, and I was floored by the animation, but I just couldn't get into it. I found it difficult to, and then they re-released a new dub of it, and oh man, it's excellent. So I think there was like an early American dub that was just terrible.
With Akira, you have to read the manga, because I mean it's two different things. There's the movie and then there's the manga. The manga is so much better. It really is. I would recommend it.
I just got to bring this up. Arkham met Clarence Von Houten. I've always had a crush. I was introduced to her in Game of Thrones, and I found her to be the most beautiful woman in all of Game of Thrones. So meeting her, good for you, man. Good for you.
Did you also try out Tetsuo at the same time as Akira?
I don't. That's another movie.
Tetsuo Iron Man.
Yeah, Tetsuo the Iron Man. Yeah, that body horror. That's a very odd movie. Yeah, that was a weird one. That wasn't anime though. That was live action.
Right.
That was it was weird. That was a weird movie.
Now,
Yeah. Damn, that was a weird movie. I haven't thought of that movie in years.
Well, there was
it's funny because at Comic-Con, not this year, but the year before, I was with Von Coleman, and it just shows you how like out of it I am. We went to a bar. So this is a bar in Manhattan, and it's an anime bar. So it's a bar with booze, alcohol, but it's anime themed. I was just like, oh my God, you know, like when I was young in my 20s going to bars, it was all, you know, motorcycles and, you know, and cowboys and boobies and stuff and sports. I would have imagined that there would be an anime bar, and they were playing Akira, and I just couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I'm like, this was like 1989, and they have yet to surpass that animation.
Well, what's funny about Akira is that's future Tokyo, but that's how Tokyo looks now, pretty much. But the crescendo in the 90s for anime for the Japanese invasion, in my opinion, was Cowboy Bebop.
I was going to say, I remember Cowboy Bebop.
I love Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most normie thing in the world. I've said that to people that are into anime and manga definitely more than me, and they always look at me like I'm a filthy normie. But I love it. I think it's really good. That's after that I just sort of drifted in and out of it. I got back into it with One Punch Man, and I love One Punch Man. I adore that strip. Probably the single greatest superhero comic. It blows away anything that Marvel and DC is doing, in my opinion. Great character.
I watch Cowboy Bebop and One Punch Man, and the other one, My Hero Academia, are the ones that everybody recommends.
That good for kids, but I didn't really get into that one too much. But
well, it's superheroes. Yeah. I still love superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
But when you were talking about Dragon Ball Z, I was in Albuquerque when that was like at its height on American television.
Yeah,
I was living in a house with like 6 other guys, and I was going to college, and they all lived in Albuquerque, and they would just Dragon Ball Z's on. They would all just sit around and watch it, and I just couldn't get into it, and everybody loved it, and I was on a job like 3 or 4 years ago, and my foreman was like mad that I never watched Dragon Ball Z. And he was like explaining it to me, like artistic level, explaining all the details. And he was telling me, I don't know if this is true or not. He says that when the creator of Dragon Ball Z died, like all the gangs in Mexico had like a day truce.
Yes. Okay. Dragon Ball Z is extremely big in Mexico. That is absolutely right. Absolutely.
Wow. So that there was like no gang fights and everybody like paid respects or something.
From what I heard, yes. From what I heard, yeah.
Lord Master Vincente, you're down there in Mexico. Did you hear anything about this? Your mic's on.
Yeah, I remember the truce.
So it was a real thing. Okay, I respectfully said that's great because I couldn't verify it or deny it. We were at work but wow, that's pretty cool. You know, MHA. What is MHA?
My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
I think Akira film was 1988. I read the manga until I couldn't afford it anymore. It wasn't cheap. Yeah, Mexico has a huge anime fan base. Yeah. Well,
Ark is not wrong, man.
I heard Dragon Ball Z.
Maybe we Latinos should raise our kids on anime stuff, novellas.
Oh, Lord Vincente, do you know Santos and Gatchaman? El Santo?
I'm aware of him.
Okay,
yeah. But I don't know too much about him. As for Gatchaman, not too much about them, but I'm aware of them.
Yeah, I want to, like, I asked Oscar if you ever go to comic book stores, just get me stacks of those old Spider-Mans with like when Gwen Stacy didn't die, and I'll pay for them and send them out to me. Yeah.
Those are funny.
Not Gatchaman. What am I thinking of? Kaliman.
Oh, Kaliman, yes.
Kaliman.
I managed to get some Kaliman comics with me, so I'll be right back.
Okay. So I know we stray, but that's the nature of the channel, the show. I love that. like people always say, what's the format? The format is I come up with a topic and then we veer left.
Just say
almost
anything else. Maybe we should talk about. Well, it is the 4th of July. Maybe we should have done Star Spangled.
Yeah, we
Field.
should have.
We've done that before, I think, though.
Yeah, we did. We did. It was the greatest patriotic heroes, and everyone
we did it before,
Superman. Yeah, I was like, Superman. Yeah, you're right. Old Superman. Truth, justice, and the American way.
Force
with the
5.
famous Fred Ray drawing with the eagle on.
Mhm.
I did a homage to that.
Does anybody know any of these that RR is bringing up? I never heard of
I
any.
know,
Dan Gardace, I know. Dan
I know
Gardace.
Dan Gardace. Shit, I don't know any of the others, but yeah.
I mean, he lives in New Zealand, so sometimes I wonder if there's like cartoons that just didn't make it here.
I think he's just watching him while he's underneath in the Shire, and he's tunneling and making his new house in the hill.
Yeah, when he's smoking that pipe weed that all those hobbits smoke.
Yeah, that's yeah.
My older brother was raised in South America, in Ecuador. And he moved back here in the States when I was like 10, and he was 16, 17.
That makes sense.
But he was able to, over there, he told me like it was anime all the time. Anime all the time, but it was in Spanish. He was able to, and that's where he watched all sorts of things. He was, my older brother's the biggest weeb you'll ever see, but he's a self-hating weeb. He hates, and he hates the fact that he likes this stuff. Like, I don't like this nerd shit. I'm like, well, it's okay. You can like it. But I know, but I don't want anyone else to know. I'm like, well, then don't tell anybody. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
He's the one that got me into it. Because I remember as a kid, the cartoons back then, people say, oh, they were glorified toy commercials. And they were. But even then as a kid, I noticed the cartoons that were produced in Japan had a higher quality than the cartoons that were done here in the, United States. So you had cartoons like Voltron, which is simply repurposed Japanese animation, and Robotech, which again repurposed Japanese animation. And does anybody remember Silverhawks and
sure.
and Thundercats?
Oh, guess what? So at Garden State, which you guys all missed, there was a Thundercats Silverhawks voice cast lineup, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, the woman that did Chitara, the guy that did Lion-O, the guy that did Panthro, and like 3 others. But it was it was great.
No, those are some cool-looking comics, man.
Yeah, Lord Master Vincenzo, tell us about those comics. Show us those comics. I'll make you big. Your mic's off. Turn your mic on.
One Piece. Nice.
Oh, okay. One Piece. What is that?
Duranki.
Duranki.
Okay. I like your bedroom. I like the brick. That's cool looking. It is Caliban.
Oh, Caliban. Yeah, the mysterious one with Indian powers.
Yeah, it's a Mexican comic about an Indian superhero. I love that.
Crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
¿Tienes Santo ahí? ¿Revistas de Santo?
No, I don't. No, I don't have any Santo with me.
Too bad.
Caliban. I like his girl sidekick. She's got like basically a bikini on.
Oh, the Flash. There you go.
Oh, the Flash. Okay, that's DC. Yeah, we don't need to see DC. I want to see more Mexican comics.
But that Flash shows manga influence on that cover.
Yeah.
With the lines, the run.
Oh, you got Alpha Core, yeah.
Oh,
It doesn't show as much manga influence.
No.
Well, it is what it is.
By influence.
I got Mike Barron sent me a copy of
Gooding. All right, more Ripa stuff, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to see, you got more Kaliman or anything? I already know all the Ripper stuff.
No, I don't got any more Kaliman.
Okay.
I only got these and some Ultraman manga.
Ultraman. I haven't. How could I have forgotten Ultraman?
I don't know what. If yeah, Spaceship, yeah, Star
Star
Blazers.
Blazers. I remember Star Blazers.
Star Blazers was on at 3 o'clock. On Channel 11, which was WPIX in New York, and I used to run home. And most of the time, I missed like the first couple of minutes. Like I would miss the opening, but man, it had the greatest opening song ever. And I love that ship design, the wave motion of, but it suffered the same thing that all the Japanese cartoons did. Was they would encounter a problem, they would deal with it, and then at the end they used the ultimate weapon. Voltron used the sword. What's the other one? Transor Z, but there was another one, Guyver. He would open up the chest and you would use the booby blasters and take out the bad guy. And the same with Star Blazers. They would use the wave motion gun. And that would drain their energy and prolong their journey. So I like that there was a cost to the ultimate weapon. Voltron didn't seem to have a cost to the ultimate. So to me, it was just like, just use the ultimate weapon.
I would just say for Voltron, John, just watch Beast King Go Lion. It's a much better story. It makes sense. Like I said, people die in it. It's the original source material before it got neutered is quite interesting.
But I know it was a Spaceship Yamato,
Mhm.
and I remember they had a year to save the Earth, and I just thought it was so interesting because as a kid, it was like, are they going to make enough time? And then I remember the second season they were fighting the Comet Empire, and I never got to see it. Either it got canceled or something happened at school, or they changed the time. But that's something I keep telling myself I want to go and get like a DVD and watch Star Blazers in its entirety. I could still sing the opening song. I loved it so much.
Now there's a connection between anime and pulp. A lot of pulp characters, pulp storylines were adapted into anime. They didn't ask for permission, they just did it. That's why a lot of these things can never be sold in the United States legally. But you had the Lensman series.
Yes.
You also had Captain Future, which was in the 70s. And I'm trying to remember another one. I know there were 3, but off the top of my head, I'm only thinking of 2. But that Lensman series was great. Yeah, I mean, it does not follow the E. Doc Smith novels at all.
I wouldn't imagine it did.
Fun. It's
That
fun.
would be kind of difficult. I wouldn't see an anime following those novels.
Yeah.
But
were they like Green Lanterns in space?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what the Lensmen are essentially. But yeah, it's a lot more dynamic. They focused more on less on the story, more on the action. I loved how they made the Bosk One look. In the anime, the Bosk One looked like crab people. They looked like they were crustaceans, and they did not look like that in the novel, if I'm remembering correctly.
The people, there was the Endor were these blob creatures.
Mhm.
They were like amoebas that replicated by cell diffusion and everything like that. And when they split, it was like they each had each other's memory. You know what I mean? They just populated. They were just like these eternal beings that shared all their memories or whatever. But the Boscone were their human agents that the Endor would like either enslave or they basically found out what you craved and they gave that. So like one of the guys wanted women. So they would go around and capture women, and that he had a harem. One guy wanted wealth. One guy just wanted, like, nobody respected him on Earth. So he just wanted respect. So, like, they basically gave him weapons so he could push people around. Like, they found out the worst thing of you and catered to it. So the Boscone weren't necessarily aliens, but they turned them into crabs because that's cool.
Yeah, well, they were crab people, and they were also the villains of the series. Yeah.
In the Lensman series, the Arisians were like the Guardians.
Yeah, they were like these brains. There was only one that we ever met. A mentor.
But they were like 2 billion years old, so they were kind of like the Guardians. The Owens. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, there wasn't a Green Lantern named Arisia named
after that, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I love the Lensman, and I heard that Ron Howard has the rights to make it into a movie, and I pray it doesn't come out now because
You won't be able to do it. They remember, John. They have that weird incest relationship between the brother and the sister, if I'm remembering correctly.
not in the well. What happens is
So the thing that's going to be problematic to bring that to the
the sexism is going to be problem. Like
everything is sexist.
they're when they're about to go on their mission, they're just like each officer has a secretary. They're literally lining the women up and turning them around. Like, okay, and then the quartermaster's like, we need enough whiskey, cigars, and steaks for a space mission, and everybody gets assigned the hot girl. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a good idea to me.
Pat them on the butt, and then there's a planet of women that don't wear any clothes, so they get the main Kimball. They get his wife. She's the way they describe her, she looks like the redhead from Mad Men, this stacked redhead. And they give her a lens just so she can go there. And they're like, you should show us your uniform that you're going to wear when, so she basically strips for everybody. It's very, very sexist. And they have children and they become the third generation. They don't really have incest. I don't know if in the cartoon they did, but what happens is there's two daughters and a son.
Yes.
And what they do is they combine and they form the universal mind. And they turn into like a pseudo Arisian. They turn into a brain and their ultimate powers. So it's not like they're sex; they just merge into one being.
Right.
Jack Kirby had an idea for the Eternals with the Unimind for that.
It's been a long time since I read any of those, but I thought that they had some weird feelings towards each other. The sisters, and the brother.
Well, what happened is once they merged they shared each other, like they had one brain. And then when they separated, they knew what each other was thinking and their feelings. So
okay, I probably read a little bit too much into that when I was reading it.
Maybe I misread it or whatever. But I just read the whole series again like 2 years ago. But I don't remember any of that.
The anime was fun. It absolutely did not follow the source material at all. But the third one I'm remembering, they made an anime of Heinlein Starship Troopers, and that's on YouTube. If you guys if anybody wants to look at it, someone uploaded that on YouTube. Really cool looking mechs there. Because the thing that people forget is they only watch the movie that came out in the '90s. They actually fought in mech suits, like they fought
right.
the bug in
Well,
giant mech suits.
I remember the Starship Trooper anime. Really good anime.
Yes,
I like the design.
yes. But yeah, they had this thing about adapting pulps. That was the one from the '70s, the Captain Future pulp. That was an interesting anime. That was not too many people I've talked to have ever seen that one. Let alone I've seen a couple of episodes, but again, it's hard. It was hard for me to find any of those. Maybe now it would be a lot easier. You have the internet, but back in the day, there was tapes. We would trade tapes with each other.
Because of physical media.
That's how I was able to see a lot of this stuff. And it was interesting. It was neat.
At the risk of like I told you so, old fart man over here is starting to, guys, you got to get physical media. Like all of you video game people are starting to realize that I was right. Get your vinyl, get your comic books. How many people lost Comixology? And now Amazon, I've been seeing that people bought movies on Amazon and now they have no access to them anymore because get you. My wife still has boxes and boxes of DVDs.
Yeah, or at least download whatever you can as well and put them on thumb drives too.
Yeah, I got my comic books. I don't read anything digital. Like I only get an audio book of a book that I have physically just so I can listen to it while I'm driving. But like that's one of my pet peeves when people tell me, "Oh yeah, I read that book," and then you find out they listened to it. No, reading and listening are two different things. They use two different parts of the brain. Don't say you read a book. Say you listened to a book.
Now, how many you people find people have read Berserk?
No, I never did.
I haven't read Berserk.
I tried to get into it. Yeah, I tried to get into it. Really, really beautiful, detailed art. Wow, that art is good. Not really my bag. I'd rather read Robert E. Howard. but the art is
That I've
beautiful.
been reading.
Mhm.
I've been reading Robert E. Howard. Yes.
I read one Robert E. Howard story, the very first Conan. I got to go back and read it. I got the collected big old leather-bound book. I found Robert E. Howard to be a difficult read.
No, I found him to be very, very user friendly. The one that was difficult out of the big three of Weird Tales was Clark Ashton Smith.
I never
Clark
read
Ashton Smith was very, very wordy, like very, very highfalutin. I love his stuff, but it's like, Lovecraft used a lot of 20 words.
Yeah, I think that's the word. Oh, no, that's Tony. You get a. I just read this.
I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses. What is it?
Rip Kirby.
Oh, nice. Oh, right. Yeah, I love Rip Kirby. Yeah,
It was excellent. That was.
It is.
It was really good. It was funny because my wife was sitting over here and we were talking about it, and I loved it. It's taken from the newspaper strips. I cannot believe that the newspapers used to have such quality comic strips, and now they're basically extinct. And,
Pretty much.
And this was Alex Raymond. He created Flash Gordon, and he went to World War II. And when he came back, the law said that you had to get, if you were drafted, went to war, and came back with, you got your job back, but they wouldn't give Flash Gordon back. So he was just like, all right, I'm going to make something else. And he made Rip Kirby, which is complete opposite, totally grounded, nothing, Flash Gordon was the first of the space opera stuffs, basically inspired by the Lensman, if you ask me. And then there's Rip Kirby, which is one of the first flat out normal detectives. And it's really good. But the last story, I was complaining. I said, there's too many coincidences. Like one guy sent me one of his scripts. And guys, I'm a rookie. Just consider the source. I said, but your script is relying on coincidences. Like one coincidence is good. That could be the spark of the story. Two coincidences, that pushes it. Three coincidences is bad writing. Unless your story is about coincidences, that's a crutch. And I found that there was three coincidences in this last story, but it didn't matter. It was still so good. The characters were so good. The interaction. So that's how he broke my rule. Of coincidence. There's two rules that I don't lie to the audience and don't rely on coincidences. And it's amazing. Oh, we got a super chat. Big animation news this week is Gendy Tark. I can never pronounce his name right. Tartakovsky. Yes, I liked Primal.
That would work because of Primal, but I have to warn people. Okay. Robert E. Howard is, and I hate to use this word, but he is toxic masculinity. Okay, he's a man's man. The women are women, the men are men. It's violent. It's very. I don't know if a company would allow the pure distillation of Howard on the airwaves. I would love to see it, but I don't know. I'm going to approach that with caution.
It sounds like you finally reached the stage I'm at. Anytime I see any good news, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yes, that's me. That's me. If anyone can do it, it's him because of Primal. But again, I don't know how much they're going to allow. Because if you read,
Primal did the amazing thing. I liked it from the very first episode, and then my wife watched a few episodes with me, and she got all teary-eyed in one particular episode where like a dinosaur starved to death, and she looked at me, she goes, "How did you make me watch this? It's so sad." And I'm like, "It worked." My wife, and I enjoyed it.
Tell your wife that the series is concluded and it's got a great ending. I don't want to
go back and watch it. I gotta go back and watch it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Wait, Marcus is
getting back to Alex Raymond. How many people remember Secret Agent X9?
I do.
The strip that he did with Dashiell Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, while Flash Gordon was going on, his greatest Flash Gordon, he was drawing this as well, and now it ended up to be Secret Agent Corrigan by Archie Goodwin and Al Williamson, being reprinted on X now.
Oh,
It's a guy who reprints all these old strips and comic covers, and he's doing Secret Agent X9, Conan the Barbarian. He likes Ernie Chan.
I've got some. I met him in
Fury.
This is my next big thing to read.
I remember the Tintin cartoons. They
Tintin.
used to rerun them here. Yeah, I like Tintin a lot. We used to get the books from the library.
I have a Snowy.
You have what?
I have a stuffed animal Snowy from when I was a kid. Yeah.
Oh, is that from Tintin? I didn't
Yeah.
read it yet, so I don't know. What
Yeah,
that
the
is.
dog. The dog. Yeah.
And I wanted to say that as comic books are today, the heroic fiction in comic books was really created by Alex Raymond during Flash Gordon, the tall, athletic, muscular superhero with the 8 heads tall character, 8.5, was created by Alex Raymond. They weren't really drawing the heroes until then, like Raymond.
Yeah, he was a legend. Did you
They all were a combination of Kniff and Raymond.
Hey Marcus, did you ever read that weird conspiracy theory book that Dave Sim wrote about the death?
I've read about it. I've seen
weird.
I've seen bits of it, and they talked a lot about it on Cartoonist Kayfabe. It's pretty interesting because they have a whole thing about Stan Drake, and I met Stan Drake and talked to him for over an hour and a half about artwork in his Westport, Connecticut studio. They all live in Westport, Connecticut, where John Byrne lives. All the cartoonists lived up there. And I just he was such a nice guy. It's hard to believe that that whole Alex Raymond conspiracy. That's just crazy. He was clearly trying to kill himself in Stan Drake's car. The Corvette. It hit the tree. Nobody wore seatbelts. So Alex Raymond got launched. Stan Drake lost his ears. They had to be reattached. This is like
Really?
1955. Yeah. And he's the uncle of Matt and Kevin Dillon.
Oh, okay. And you went to,
in real life. I don't. They never met him, obviously, because he died like 10 years before Matt was born, 9 or 10 years.
we've been talking for 2 hours. So at this point, what do you guys want to talk about next week?
Well, any other continents that we haven't been yet?
I mean, Africa and Australia, really, we haven't. Do you want to do African characters?
Well, yeah, we could do African, sure, if I'm around. Yeah.
I think we should do Africa.
One of my pet peeves is just like, oh, we're gonna make white characters black, but there's so many good African characters, like in history and in fiction, that they can use. Yep. So this will be fun. We'll do African characters next week, and Australia maybe the last one. And then we'll say Antarctica characters.
We can come because RRT and Z comes in our chat and gave you a super chat. We should come to also talk about New Zealander characters.
The book is The Strange Death of Alex Raymond by Dave Sim. Okay, I didn't know that.
By Dave Sim. Yeah, it's terrifically illustrated.
Not far. I'll try to give. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close out now because we've been talking for 2 hours. I don't think people click on really long streams anymore. So we'll start with Master Lord Vincenzo, go around, and we'll close out. So anything you want to say at the end, Vincenzo?
Well, all I can say is that I want to wish America and you guys a happy 4th of July and a happy 250th birthday. Yep. So please enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have fun with it.
I love. Thank you. How old is Mexico as a country?
I have no clue.
Oh, okay. Tony, anything you want to say?
Support John. Please watch Marcus draw stuff. Support Heroine Bird. And nice to meet you, Senor. Ten buena noche.
Gracias, Tony.
Herrenberg, anything you want to say?
Yeah, just pretty much. We have our 5th issue out, and you can get it directly from us on the website or at any store in the Pittsburgh area or at 4 different stores in the South so far, thanks to the very accepting and generous Heroes Con.
Cool. Oh, Tony.
I have it. It's good comic. My friend drew half of it.
Oh, yeah. James Hansen drew half of it from Baltimore. And, Marcus has an Arctica pinup on the back cover. Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And no drawing enemies tomorrow. We're taking off for the holiday.
Yeah, the holiday. I don't know.
And I started my own coffee, or some people pronounce it as Kofi, but it's coffee, which I forgot to promote. So we'll I don't want to be too grifty, but I figured it's a nice place to, if somebody wanted a commission or look at some artwork and buy some artwork from me. This is not the place, which we're not a super chatty thing, so I didn't really feel comfortable saying it. We'll promoting that, but you'll see some posts by me, as I add some artwork to it.
I get that last page done.
I'm working on it. See, wait, if it's not spoilerific.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Cool.
I do it. I pencil ink it panel by panel after the pencils that you see. It's cleaner and
I asked
faster.
Oscar if he could color it to look old fashioned.
That's cool. That's cool.
You know what I mean? I kind of wanted to look like 70s coloring, to go with the classic.
Oh, please, 70s coloring. I never thought. I will say this: when we were reading the comics in the 80s and the 70s, the printing was bad, and especially in the 80s, they tried to flexographic printing, and people were dying for better paper. And Camelot 3000 came out, and that was on better paper. And now I don't want better paper.
Right.
I don't
Be
want
careful
better
what you wish for, right?
I want Petra Scorsese or Andrea Roy coloring the goddamn thing. With flat colors, it's so pleasing to the eye.
Yeah. My favorite color still is Titania Wood.
Exactly right. Exactly. Michelle Wolfman. All the ones you remember.
Say is the best African superhero Elon Musk.
I would say so.
Never mind the ball. Okay, and I'll say next week I'm going to be working this mid shift, so I might delay the launch till Saturday of Heroic Tales.
Are you going to do it on your show? Or are you going to go?
Yeah, I'll probably do it on my show.
I'll join you if you want.
Yeah, well, so we might do a launch. Now I realize I don't know. I want to do it Friday, but it said I might have to go into Kickstarter and rechange the date to whatever. But anyway, I'm working now. Of course, they tell me as I'm leaving yesterday, oh yeah, you're gonna work the 3 o'clock to 11 shift, and you don't want to say no because it's overtime,
No, you don't want to.
and it's out of the heat. Oh man, so now it's gonna mess with my lunch time. But I might work around it. I'll keep everybody posted.
Yeah,
but anyway,
everybody stay cool.
Thanks.
It's nearly 100 here.
Yeah. It's 100
the
here
Heroic
too.
Tales Christmas special is launching on Kickstarter. If you backed it already on Fund My Comic, you still might want to check it out because Kickstarter allows for add-ons and stuff. So I put a lot of extra stuff on it. And if you see something that you want, but you're already backed up Fund My Comic, just let me know. I'll reimburse you the shipping because it's all coming from me anyway. I'm going to be fulfilling everything here. So
Shipping's a deal breaker.
I mean, if you want, I'll throw in something extra, whatever makes you happy. Yeah. And at that, we'll say goodbye, kids.
Goodbye, kids. This is good soup.